What's up? This is 3 Live Stream, and welcome to the Serpent's Lair. This is a G.I. Joe interactive discussion show with my co host over here, Mr. Viper. And tonight we got a couple guests. One person down here you have seen on my channel many a times. We've done the Harley shows, we've done some other random topics, but this is the first time I'm getting to talk to Animal Mother Customs. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Good new.
Awesome. But we are here to fucking let the rough side drag and talk some GI Joes tonight. What's up, Viper?
Chilling, bro. Just tinkering, playing with the toys.
What's up, Curtis Schultz is here. Big M Diamonds is in the house. So, Caesar MMA, as always. Callie is in the house. So before we get started on the topics, what I would like to do, and we'll start with Animal Mother because he's never been on the show before. If you could give us your background with GI Joe, kind of let the people know who you know, your story with GI Joe.
Uh, GI Joe kicked off for me in '82. My first GI Joe was '82 Rock and Roll, and it just kind of fell in from there.
So 82 Rock and Roll was your first one.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yep.
right. So now I was talking to you the other day. Something that's really unique with you. You were telling me that you still have something very awesome that a lot of us don't have that we used to have.
I have pretty much my entire childhood collection.
That's ridiculous, man. So, kind of, what are some of the pieces you still have from your childhood? What's up, Moto Frank? What's who?
Um, I mean, we have several things. Um, Several vehicles. A lot of my figures aren't on display because obviously over the years the O-rings have deteriorated and I just haven't spent the time to put that many O-rings back together. Viper's seen a lot of them. A lot of them are thrashed out a little bit, but they're still my childhood. But I guess if I had to pick a couple of the grails that are in my collection, uh my Rolling Thunder,
Yeah,
my Thunderclap, the X-19 Phantom. Um,
I always thought that the Rolling Thunder was awesome. Like it's a playset. You could fit a shit ton of figures on that thing. You know what I mean? To me, it was like a playset.
that's a great thing about GI Joe. A lot of the vehicles were play sets in a way. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, there
Oh,
was foot pegs for like 30 characters on that APC from Mega Marines. It felt like you could fit what nine inside of it, two
Yep.
gunners in the back, six or
Yep.
seven on the outside, a driver and a gunner.
The
Yeah.
first vehicle I ever got was the what is it? The '83 APC,
Yeah,
which
look at that
you
thing.
know that thing is basically it's basically a carrying case. You know,
dude! Shout out to
the
80.
little bumper pulled out, and you could just hold it by the back little bumper like a little handle. Like it was pretty much a carrying case.
Diamond says GI Joe had the playability. That's what makes it so
Yes.
awesome still to
Yep.
this day. Um,
Um, I mean, I have a GI Joe General. I still have a General sitting here. That's probably the biggest place that I have at the moment is the General.
Inutabi says, I always like the water moccasin. I have one full complete with all the fins and the linkage good and everything, but I busted the tabs in the back trying to take it apart because
Hmm.
there's there's a rattle inside it. So
Mm.
I could never get it. I'm like, okay, I knew I was gonna have to take it apart to get whatever was inside it. There was a gun for the Ostriker driver crankcase.
Crankcase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Crankcase.
so I took it apart, but it broke. The tab did in the back, and that's sure enough what was down in the gun was his rifle.
Nice.
Was it
Sweet.
worth it? Was it breaking it? Was breaking it worth it?
I was going to take it apart anyway because every vehicle I get has to be taken apart and cleaned and restored. So It is what it is. If it's in my collection, it has to be durable. What's up, Inutabi? Good to see you, bro.
But yes, the water moccasin. The water moccasin was just a cool. That was just a cool Cobra vehicle anyway.
The driver Copperhead. The
Yeah.
colors are so ridiculous, but and like he's got like some tank top on. It was still badass to me.
Yep.
I need that. I need that lower hole, bro. Yeah.
No.
All right. So, Ben, kind of tell people your history with GI Joe.
Well, my dad, he's always so. First of all, like there never was a when I first was introduced to GI Joe, it was just always there because my dad collects like the 60s and 70s type stuff.
M3.
And so I always knew like the 12-inch stuff. And I have two older brothers that my dad bought them GI Joes whenever they were first coming out in like 82 and 83 and like up until, you know, they were teenagers or whatever like that. So I always had GI Joes when I was a kid. The first one I remember having and playing with is probably like, I think we had others. I remember like Taurus and stuff like that. But the first one like I really played with was Snake Eyes, the version 3 one with the two like little knives on his chest. And the first vehicle I had was the APC. And dude, that thing is awesome. I used to cram all of my fucking toys in that thing. Like everybody, Stormtroopers, like He-Man goes in there, like everybody goes inside the APC. And yeah, that's a good vehicle. That's like you know, I guess it isn't very action packed, so nobody really cares about it, and it's kind of big and awkward. But you know, as a child, if you got that thing, you're like, I'm gonna put cereal inside of this, and it's the best thing. You know.
Oh, top! Hey, we've set the bar pretty fucking high. Which comments are gonna top? I like to put cereal in my fucking APC
because it's like waterproof. Like I don't think there's like any holes at the bottom of that thing. Like it's completely sealed.
It floats pretty good.
Yeah.
It floats better than the water vehicles actually float.
Yeah, dude. It's an amazing vehicle. I wish I could get my hands on the Night Force one, but like you know,
get your hands on pretty much any Night Force anything.
I think I have one part to it. I have the gun to the Night Force part. I'm just gonna put that in my display case. And like,
that's the hardest part. Just get a beater green one and spray paint
it. Just spray paint it black.
Yeah. If you got the orange gun, that's all you really need because you need that signature orange.
Did it have orange seatbelts?
I think it had orange. I don't know about the seatbelts, but
it has orange wheels.
It has orange wheel. Like
I've seen the orange wheels. I think I saw like seatbelts one time, and somebody said it had orange seatbelts, which like.
Of course, all the black and orange shit is the hottest, and everybody loves it.
Well, I think it's like pretty. For some reason, the lighter colored plastic I think is pretty like flimsy too. I've seen some of the antennas and stuff like that break, so I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I've heard several
marks pop up on it like super easily.
I've heard
with the age.
Hold on a second. I've heard several people say that their Vamp was their first vehicle too. Go ahead, Viper. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh no, I just think that with these toys at this age, any of the plastics are susceptible. Granted, you know, the golds and the silvers are more prone and the tan colors, but I think it's even reaching into the stuff that's more hardy and durable.
Yeah. Ralph Bednarski says, I loved all the water vehicles and the fact they all came with foam to put on the inside when putting them together to make them float. My brother never understood this and threw the foam out. Ralph don't miss a beat, bro. He knows what's good.
I don't ever remember putting foam in my shit.
Hey,
there's foam. There's foam in my moccasin now because I took it apart and put it in there.
Well, there you go. We learn something new every time on the Serpent's Lair. We put.
I didn't know that as a kid.
We put cereal.
I mean, I guess if some of that foam
there
was supposed to go in some of them, I never took it as the foam was supposed to go in certain ones.
Yeah, I got white foam in there. You can see, but
still, I don't know if
it still doesn't float that well.
The whale, I don't think would have made a difference.
No,
foam or no foam, I think that thing.
The problem with the foam, the foam doesn't have enough buoyancy to keep it up, even with the weight of the plastic.
Yeah.
These things are.
I've never seen
disappointing.
that on instructions. Are you sure?
I've never have either.
Foam inside of it.
Maybe Ralph is just thinking outside the box and genius, and the rest of us are all the
I
mouth
think he was
breathers.
looking at it as an engineering standpoint. He was like, I can make this better.
Hey, either we're mouth breathers or fucking meatheads.
I think we're
Right.
mouth breathers.
Cobra Viper special, bro.
Bro, Ralph, you blew my mind. If that's the case, and that was really on the instructions that we were supposed to, I feel like a biggest knucklehead out there. I don't know that.
They could have put
Yeah, I'll have to
anything on those instructions.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look. I don't own many instructions to many of the vehicles. I have instructions to a couple of my vehicles, but not many.
Toby says the small sets like the Cobra Bunker, guard towers were my favorite. Dude, I never sleep on the little accessories, man. Some of them are the balls. Like, I like vehicles a lot. So the Sky Striker is a little large to me. It's still cool, but that little fire bat, that fucking thing is like the perfect little fucking size for a small little fucking plane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
Dude,
is
some
nice.
of those little play sets, though, I mean, you got to think about it. You could get those for like $1.99.
Is that really how much they were?
Yeah, they were like $1.99, $2.99. Really depends on the play set.
What about Checkpoint Alpha?
I'd say that was probably tops maybe $5.
Jesus. That's a cool little playset for like $5. I love that thing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, figures were like what, $1.99?
Yeah.
Oh, I just got a couple of vintage Masters of the Universe, and there's a sticker on one of them. I thought, and it says $1.99, bro, on a He-Man figure. So Joe's had to be like $1.99 too.
Yeah, somewhere.
I thought I remember them being like $4.99, but
I mean, they got to be like $2.99, $3.99 by like, you know, 92, 93, but
I was gonna say KB Toys, I think the stickers on them were like $3.99 or something like that.
Actually, if you hang on a minute, Pack, I've got a couple old file cards here that still have price tags on them, just to kind of give you an idea of where you sit for prices of a year.
Diamond says some put foam in there, some put the cereal, some even put the herb in there. They're gonna put
so
the herb
maybe not $1.99. So here's a bazooka card from Kmart, and it's $2.84.
Let's have it
this way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a few that it's like $2.79, $3.21. It's under $4 though, and most of them I have. The Sky Striker was like $21. The Conquest, I got the sticker right here. $26.88 for the Condor.
So these are crazy ones. My parents went to Hong Kong, picked these up. These came from a Hong Kong Toys R Us. They paid $24.90 for these things in Hong Kong.
What the hell?
Well, the money exchange.
Hey, Animal's been talking to Cobra Viper, Ninja Force.
Yeah, we get down on that funky 90s Joes, dude.
Dude, I got down on a lot of it, man. 82 right through 94. Now, I mean, 94 was kind of like a touch and go era for me, you know, because it was like, what'd you have in 94? Like Space Brigade and
funky what?
That kind of stuff, you know. I didn't go so much into that.
What's up, Mark Cosplay? Thanks for stopping, bro.
Came with these gadgets.
Dude, action features are the balls. So, Ben, didn't you basically come up in with the 90s? You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of.
This one's weak.
My parents never, I mean, my dad was more like the type where, like, we'd go to KB Toys. And so we'd go to KB Toys and, like, I'd see all this cool shit, right? And then we would leave the store and he would have, like, 3 huge bags of 12-inch G.I. Joe stuff for him. And then, like, we'd go home and just play with our toys. Like he didn't buy us toys at KB Toys. We got stuff at the garage sales. So like, yeah, we didn't go to the store and he bought us. Like we got hand-me-down, which I was okay with. Yeah. So I
mean, that's the other great thing about, like, I mean, I don't know about a lot of you guys when you were growing up, but when I was growing up, I mean, I was born in 80. So like 86, 87, you know, you're out there like lawn sailing. You're finding, you know, the older kids is GI Joes. They're now selling them. So, you know, you could buy those collections dirt cheap at lawn sales.
Yeah.
When I was growing up.
Yeah.
Man, hey, y'all motherfuckers being young and shit. I'm still the oldest in this motherfucker by like 6 years, man. Come on. Animal, I thought you was older than that, bro. With that being said, let's just fire off into this first topic, the main topic off the show. You ready for this, Viper?
I'm always ready.
All right, so the name of the show and what our main topic is going to be, our first topic will be, what's your favorite G.I. Joe era? Before we answer that question, we'll go around, starting with Cobra Viper, go clockwise.
For me,
Define era first so everybody can kind of know what we're talking about.
I guess the era kind of goes down to like when the wave was running or the time that you were involved in it, because you know it could have gone till 94, but for you could have discontinued your search in 89, 88 or whatever. So is it your era into the 90s or is that the next generation of kids? So it gets a little wishy-washy, but if I was to choose a time frame that they were creating GI Joe content, I would choose the 50th anniversary, the 30th anniversary, parts of 25th, like the vehicles, parts of the Pursuit of Cobra, because I really got down when they offered 3 3/4, highly detailed, more articulation. Granted, there's no O-ring, but I'm not a slave to the O-ring. I do like modern touches and uptakes where they give you this, you know, Destro in a suit, or they give you Moneybags Destro and he's in an Iron Grenadier body, or you know, you make your own kit bash where you pop the head and swap it on another body. But for me, and Animal, I mean, he's dabbled in this too. He'll get into it, but this one wasn't the best, but this is a pretty good rendition of Baroness from The Pursuit of Cobra, or Retaliation, or whatever.
Let's have a look at that, because when you talk about 50th, Pursuit, Resolute, I'm not down. I think the figures progressed after 25th. I think the figures were kind of shady still, and a little bit in the 25th.
Yeah, I do agree with that. But when you start getting into the 30th anniversary, this is the body from the Iron Grenadier. Excuse me, I don't remember his name exactly, but he comes with more or less like that shock trooper helmet that kind of looks like the OG helmet, but it's a little updated, more with like a gas mask vibe. But this is his body, and I threw a Destro head on it because
there.
So this is the head from the movie Destro, and I call him eyeliner Destro because they put black rings around his face. So it was the only head I had that fit and looked the best. But
can you put your hand? Can you put your hand behind the head so we can? That might focus him a little bit. There you go. Gotcha.
Okay, so this is a head off another Destro. This is normally supposed to be off the Iron Grenadier looking one, but it had the red eyes and it had the right vibe. And this Destro here had the eyeliner mask that was normally like on this one. But since this one looked pretty good and robust, I've put it on here just to give me something different, because this figure is from, this is how he comes, excuse me. This is the Destro Moneybags, which to me is a phenomenal take on this character. He's got the Juggernaut type suit like you would see with, you know, Call of Duty for you guys out there, but the Gatling gun, the money bag full of cash, the leg gauntlets. To me, this is like the best rendition of the Joes they've created. And with Classified, you could say that's better, but for me, it's this scale. and that's what I go for. Is this is my childhood scale? I don't want to leave it, and that's why I don't really vibe with classified over this.
Right. This and every topic we do is definitely 100% to chat. Chat is definitely a member of the
Yeah.
show. So before he continues on, MC says, "Love them all, but a Real American Hero 82 to 94 for me, hands down." So please, chat, put it weigh on
Yeah.
whatever we're talking about.
You know, you like the O-ring, I do too. I still love it, but man, I like the modern take. And if you guys like O-ring, I'm on the same page too. I buy them, vibe with them. They're
That
amazing.
so one of my favorite Cobra Commanders is that Resolute. That Resolute Cobra Commander is a good figure.
Yeah, that could be yours, or the Battle Armor Coco.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that your favorite Cobra Commander?
It's my favorite. It's my favorite vintage. My favorite, like modern and 3 3/4. That Resolute, like that deal.
Okay.
Let's see. Go back and forth, but before Animal goes, Ralph Ben Narcy says 82/83 was big for me as a kid due to I was used to straight arm figures, and Joe was the first set of figures that had swivel arm grip and ball joint neck, which changed how figures were made.
Yeah, was that 85? They put the ball joint.
Yeah,
I thought it was 84, but was it 85?
It's weird because there's figures that like came out in 85 that have 84 written on their ass.
Yeah, and they have the
So
swivel neck still. So
yeah,
Yeah.
like Buzzer.
Yeah.
He's actually he's
and
84 if you look at him, but he came out in 85.
Moto Frank says agreed. 82 to 88 for me. So I do appreciate the take that Cobra Viper has, and I want to touch base on that. But go ahead, Animal. What's your favorite GI Joe era? An era can be 1 year. It could be a time frame. It could be whatever you see it as.
So my favorite I mean, it kicked off in 82. That was my first figure, but I mean, I was born in 80, so you know, I'm going to say GI Joe kicked a little bit off more. I'm going to go like 80. I'm going to go O-ring as mine, but I'm going to kind of shoot through like pretty much the 82 almost. I'm going to go 92. 93, 94, I kind of started like picking and choosing. It wasn't like I wanted every figure. So I'm going to go 82 to 92 is O-ring era for me as my favorite.
Go ahead, Ben.
Oh, I was just reading some of the chats.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get caught up in chat before Ben goes. Look at Ben. Hey, Ben's catching me slipping. Early 80s for me, says Inutabi. I got Joe points to get my Cobra Commander in the mail. Had all of the originals. That's awesome. Because there's a lot of fucking good shit on them originals.
yeah, that's how you had to get Coco back in the day. You had to earn them points to get them.
I don't know who this Coco is, bro. Ralph Bednarski. Ralph Bednarski says, 83 because the original 13 got the swivel arm conversion. Snow Job and Zap were my first swivel, and those were 82/83.
Mm-hmm. They were.
And Marcos, when I was a kid, O-ring was my favorite, but Classified has become my new favorite. It's not perfect, but I'm loving it. Nothing's perfect. No line, no era. Ain't shit perfect. You got imperfect humans making shit. It's never going to be perfect. So, agreed. But we will be touching base on Classified on our next show. Stick around, and we'll tell you what the next show is going to be about. Let's see. Zeta got one more. Zeta TF here says, NAM era characters for me. I like it when they stick to the real world aesthetics. Cool.
Yeah.
Diamond says, I was kind of late to the game, was born 86, but I remember my brother being super into it. and getting seriously into it around 89 and up. But it's always been Cobra. My first was Tomax and Zaymont. We shared that. It's good. That's a good era in figures to be getting. But damn, Diamonds, I didn't know you still wet behind the ear, bros. Born in 86. Come on now. Go ahead, Ben.
I was gonna say, if you Ralph Bednarski, if you like the articulation on like early GI Joes, you should see the late 70s, like early 80s Micronauts figures. Like that has crazy articulation. Like basically, they took the articulation that was in a 60s GI Joe and put it into a little 3 3/4 inch figure, and like Micronauts is an insane line for articulation, especially for something that early. Like it's crazy. I just found out about it not too long ago because I sold one. I never knew they were that posable. But favorite era of GI Joe, I don't know. I think Rise of Cobra.
Ben, it could be if it's multiple, and I didn't tell anybody that. If you have multiple and you can't decide, there's nothing wrong with having different eras that you can't decide on.
I think what is it? GI Joe versus Cobra all the way to the end of Valor versus Venom, right before 2000 and what is it? 2007 marks the 25th.
Yes.
So it'd be like I think Valor versus Venom ends in like 2005, 2006 maybe.
Okay, so you're kind of like you're kind of what we consider the dark age.
No, there's amazing stuff in there, and if you look at some of the prices on that stuff, like people call it the dark age, but no, people still buy it. Like they have O-rings, so they have classic O-ring figures. You're getting like who's the GI Joe drug dealer guy?
Profit director?
Headman.
No, the headhunter, the headman.
Headmaster. No, it's not Headman. It's like Headman Headman. So they're doing him in like the classic comic book colors, and like you have really cool O-ring figures coming out like that. And then him, but in yellow. And I mean that's really cool. Yeah. So they did like a lot of O-ring stuff, and then they buffed them up, but I think they did a good assortment of vehicles, original vehicles. They did a good assortment of original play sets. They did a very good assortment of 12-inch figures, especially because like, they had those really weird 12-inch like 90s figures where the arms couldn't really move that well. It's rubber over the joint and stuff like that, but they actually get fully articulated, like more military styled, 12-inch figures. And
I had the 90s Duke, the 90s Snake Eyes that look like the 94 Snake Eyes with the Ninja Force one, or not the Ninja Force, but pre-Ninja Force when he was like the light blue and with the orange weapons. Yeah, I had him in 12-inch. It was like a craze in the late 90s because my dad started bringing me home them because that's what he played with. And he was like, look, I got you some Joes. I'm like, oh, sweet. And they're like these weird long boxes. Big as hell. What the hell is this? Open it up and it's this 12-inch doll. I'm like, oh, great. So I got a few of those.
They did the Ninja Force. They did the Ninja Force Storm Shadow in the 12-inch.
I don't think I got that one.
Duty as like normal weird green shirts. They just came with like green pants and like a white t-shirt.
They did Grunt in like the 90s too with the stiff arm. I hate those guys, but if you have a chance, go look at like the stuff they released for like, I would say from probably 2000 all the way to like 2007 for like 12-inch GI Joes and stuff like that. Like,
I've slowly started recently.
You talking about this
and choosing
and this?
There's
picking and
not
choosing
necessarily
some of that O-ring stuff.
But
you talking about the O-rings that are repaints of the originals for them kind of mixed in too?
Yeah, and they did like a lot of 6-packs you don't really see anymore with like repainted
damn, yes.
Like
I think
Firefly.
I want to do a show
to
where
was one of them.
I want to do a show to where we discuss different eras, like we just discussed. So like a lot of people consider Dark Ages a little bit different than other people, and that'd be great to discuss. Yeah. Damn, that's a whole topic on its own. But
and they did the comic packs.
And then there's
The
like
comic.
This is the
then there's,
Dark
like, a
Ages.
camouflage version.
Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna hit up a whole show about the Dark Ages.
Oh yeah.
Yep. But MC says Valor versus Venom and Spy Troops were cool. So great vehicles too. You got that fucking right, dude. That's 100% sure.
Yeah, Spy Troops had some cool stuff, but
Fuck yeah.
I know there's a lot of stuff released to like Walmart, but if you have some time, you should look up the sets that were not as widely released. Like all those 6-packs, like the Trooper 6-packs. You have the like comic packs, the comic 3-packs and stuff like that, which is all like classic, not really those buff style, but more classically styled G.I. Joe figures, you know?
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I got the Viper here from that pack.
I've slowly been starting to add some of those, but it's like just the O-ring version, not the weird like V-cut kind of body.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't
Just
really start in on
Just
them.
Ooh. Okay,
Yeah.
before Ben goes on, I'm gonna get caught up in chat. Mark Cosplay says, when I was a kid, my dad would bust my balls on my O-rings all the time. He used to say it was trash. He would say, when I was a kid, my Joes were 12-inch with claw. I would love
That's funny.
I would love to get somebody on the show or somebody in chat who was a 12-inch fan, because it doesn't matter what era. It's all about G.I. Joe. So
Right.
make a call. Say, yeah, what up, Pop the Trunk and Destro's Dungeon? What's up, guys? Let's see.
So
yeah, go.
I don't consider this is the Dark Ages. This is not.
Yeah.
This is fair game.
We'll discuss it, bro.
Well,
Quick.
it's weird too.
But they're both O-ring.
Corral.
But they're both O-ring. So when people say, "Oh, I like O-rings," like, really?
Well, and it's really weird because they came out at like the same time. They were releasing like these awesome figures along like really bad figures. So I know why people hate them. But then also they're like, "Oh, did you see this really cool Viper variant?" And you're like, "Well, you can't, you know." They came out at the same time. Right. So like, how do you hate them? And, you know, I get it. There was some ugly ass figures.
They did.
Yeah, go ahead.
They did give some of those vehicles pretty decent paint jobs during that time.
Yeah,
some of those vehicles that came out had some pretty cool paint jobs.
And they're desired now too.
Yeah,
Damn right. So before we get off on a tangent, because Ben hasn't finished, I haven't gone yet. Go ahead and finish up on your favorite era.
Oh, that was it. I just like that. I don't necessarily collect a lot of that era, but every time like I look into it, there's like a lot of really unique stuff that they did in those like few years, surprisingly enough, that I think gets overlooked. And every time I go to a convention, I see a new set and I'm like, oh shit, what year did that come out in? And they're like, oh, 2006. It was like an exclusive to like some dumb place like Michael's or something. And you're like, oh,
right. Yeah.
See, and that's like what I didn't realize as a kid is like how much Sears exclusive shit there was like growing up as a kid, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Chat keeps me on my toes, guys. That's why you guys are here, because I'm pretty busy with the chat. They keep me lit. So Ralph says, I was 7 when 82 came out. Let's see, 80 set. He was 7 and 82. I was 6. 7 at the end of 82. Joe came out, and it was big for us kids because we were fresh still from Vietnam and the Cold War was going on. I used to ask the vets in my neighborhood all types of questions. Destro's Dungeon says 06 was weird. Combo of both tooling styles.
Yeah.
Funny how we all come back to it. License, car, and first girlfriend ended it all in 88. Yeah, for me, I stopped collecting in the end of 86. When did collecting them pause for you all? Wait a minute. Fucking let me redo this shit. Funny how we all come back to it. License, car, first girlfriend ended all in 88. When did collecting them pause for y'all, and what G.I. Joe era brought you back? For me, it was Classified that brought me back. Damn, bro, that's a whole topic in itself. Mm-hmm. Man, before we hit that, should we put Viper, should we post that as another show? Because that's a lot of meat in there. Like,
I mean,
when did you
I mean,
stop and when did you jump back in?
I could answer that question. I could answer that question really fast, but
Go ahead.
I mean, I obviously quit in '94, like when the line died for me. I didn't do anything much past '94. 25th anniversary would have been what really kicked it off for me.
Viper? I can't hear you. You must be paused.
50th anniversary for me. It was like 2015. They were discontinuing everything. I discovered the figure subscription service. I was buying some presents for a little boy. I got some Joes. I got some Hummers off Amazon. I put 2 and 2 together. I got some Destros in hand, and it was over with.
When did you stop? That's when you started again, but when did you stop?
I stopped in because I moved on to collecting Star Wars when G.I. Joe died, but I collected Star Wars all the way up almost to the 2000s. But when I saw what G.I. Joe was putting out in the 2000s, I was kind of disappointed, and that's why I don't think I bought it. And I feel like I fell asleep at the wheel in life because G.I. Joe was going on all the way into 2012, and I didn't find out about it till 2015. So, where the fuck was I?
Probably the same place I was, but that's a different topic for a whole different platform on my channel. But anyway, go ahead, Ben.
I'm younger than you guys, so I stayed pretty consistent with it.
But, when did you stop and when did you start again, if that's applicable to you?
Well, I think I was like a teenager by the time, what was it? Probably 25th anniversary was rolling around. I collected that stuff. I would buy bits and pieces. Like I never really stopped, but like I got really obsessed with it probably when 25th anniversary started coming out. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then immediately after, like, they rolled with like Rise of Cobra, then it was Retaliation after that, then 40th and 50th. And yeah, they just kept on going.
Okay. So for me, I stopped late 86, almost in December. It was late 86. I was 11 years old. Yeah, I was still 11 years old. I started again in 98. Our son was like getting ready to turn 4, and it was a Christmas season, and we used to live in Florida, and it was driving up and down US 19, and that highway has shit everywhere, but ran across this strip mall, and it said toys. And we stopped in there. It was an old man, and there it all was. Everything was right there. All the stuff from the 80s. So it was like 1.21 gigawatts right back into here. Like, it was like ding. And yeah. From there it was over with. So that's another reason, man. That's another reason why 2000s mean a bit more to me than some G.I. Joe collectors. But I think that rounds the panel off. So I'm going to go with the topic because we're still on the main topic. What is my favorite G.I. Joe era? My favorite G.I. Joe era is. What do you think? What do you think it is, Viper? What do you think?
I'd say probably the late 90s when you got back into it.
So that's why I asked everybody. I have more than one? I can't decide. So 85 to 86. When I was a kid was a golden era for me. We talked about that in the last show. Fucking shit just lit me up when I went to my cousin's. Couldn't believe what was going on his porch. It was insane.
85 was a hot year, man. 85 was a hot year.
85 was a hot year for everything. I mean, we're talking about G.I. Joes on this show, but fuck everything.
I'd say that G.I. Joe had hot years all the way until like 91.
They did, but 85 for some odd reason, man. It had banger figures, banger vehicles.
It's like the toy companies all sold their soul to the devil in 85. So it was like, bam, everything was on point.
Yeah.
But so 85 and 86 just do it for me. But I can't choose just that. It was those mid 2000s. It was those late 2000s. because I was able to enjoy that stuff with my son. I wasn't able to enjoy that shit with any of my sisters or family when I was growing up, other than my cousin, right? So when I was able to do that with my son, dude, that's why Valor versus Venom, Spy Troops, all that shit has significant meaning to me. And we're gonna do a Dark Ages show. We're gonna do Dark Ages show. That's gonna probably be like 30, 40 minutes fucking worth of discussion right there. But those now, I'm not saying there's not golden eras. We're in a great one now. But those are the golden eras for me because of what they mean.
Yeah, Classified is doing pretty good, man. There's some great looking figures coming out of those works.
Yep.
Should we go ahead and
Really
announce
is.
what our next show is going to be? Because people think we're all meatheads for O-rings, bro.
Yeah.
Our next show is going to be G.I. Joe Classified Hits and Misses. That's going to be our next week's show. But I need to get caught up in chat, so because I'm way fucking behind. What's up, Simple Eddie?
And Classified hits or misses, man. That's you got some decent ones to nail back and forth on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
MC says those Dreadnought vehicles at Sears, money nowadays. Just like Ben was saying, dude, Spy Troops is coming up. Fucking Valor versus Venom shit's coming up. I don't want to go into it too much to keep on topic, but we'll dig in. And on this show, we're going to dig into meat and potatoes of everything. If it's a topic, if it's a line, we're going to flesh it out and we're going to find it.
Night Force, the Sears exclusives, the Crimson exclusive His tank with the mobile missile system, all that shit is bankroll now.
Yeah. Zeta TF says the Valorverse action figure is what brought me back despite it being a different brand now. Well, hey,
lucky for me though. I think lucky for me when I jumped in like 2015, I was able to recoup a ton of O-rings and 50th figures because it was kind of that lull where people were getting out of it again. They didn't see anything in the future. And then this golden goose comes along in 2020 and breaks the bank and everybody goes nuts. And now you're paying, $100 for a pile of sunburnt garbage.
Yeah, it's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah.
Ralph Bednarski is answering the question because I gotta get caught up in chat, guys. I paused on Joe's in '94 when it got weird neon colors. Sigma 6 Joe's piqued my interest back into it. I was all for Sigma 6. It was a little different. I do feel like it reminded me of Small Soldiers a lot.
It does. It has some
Sigma 6 is odd, but I liked some of the designs for some of the characters. I'm not gonna lie, I bought some of it. I bought some of it.
Oh shit, we got a motherfucking Joe celebrity in the house. What's up, Roundheed?
Roundy.
What up? Go ahead, Ben. You were in the middle saying something.
I was gonna say they made some really cool 1/32 scale stuff. Like you cram the little figure into like this big old mech looking helicopter. Yeah, they have some crazy ass shit in Sigma 6. And those nice little lockers that they come with. I mean, come on, that's great.
Yeah.
Dude.
Those are nice. People do really like those lockers.
Yeah.
Dude, fuck it, man. I mean, isn't that what it's all about, Viper? Aren't we supposed to be talking about the whole fucking shit and shooting match?
Whatever you like. It really doesn't matter. And I think the only thing people really care about is don't pretend like you did something that you didn't, If you didn't play with it, you didn't fucking play with it. Own what you really did, Yep. So if you love this neon nightmare, sing it from the rooftops, man. It's cool. Hey, nobody cares.
I do love that figure. I like that figure a lot.
Dude,
he makes it
cool.
The Eco Warriors are a fucking they're so neon, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Animal Mother has been talking to Cobra Viper a lot. I hear it. I hear the influence, bro. And that's what it's all about. Talking to people and coming to common ground. We all don't agree on shit, but we don't have to motherfucking fight about it.
Oh my God, that's beautiful, dude.
Four of a kind.
It reminds me of the Toxic Crusaders. That's why I like them.
That's what I'm trying to do because these ones are the coolest to me. Like Flint's okay. Ozone I don't really care for. When they did Clean Sweep, I said, damn it. No, you only did one of these. You should have been reusing these to death.
Yeah. And Cesspool's like the most badass looking Cobra guy ever.
Go ahead,
I
Animal.
can do some of the '90s neon, but like I do butt heads with Viper over a couple things, like
You know
Star
what?
Brigade.
You know what? I'll find myself doing. I'm not a
I'm
big
hey,
90s. I'm not a big 90s collector, but Viper's already got me looking at them. And like, so I'm the kind of person that's like, hey, other people have different perspectives maybe you didn't see, maybe you didn't understand.
Hmm.
So I'm all for that. Like, example, like Briag 45, who I do Transformers comic shows with. I don't like fucking Beast Wars, right? I know we're talking about G.I. Joe here. My whole point of this is I started coming around to some of it because he's my friend. I respect his opinion and I started listening to kind of what he had to say. So I did find some meat in there that had substance for me. Same with Viper.
Hmm.
He's always going to hit me on the Eco Warriors and Ninja Force. So what am I doing? What was I doing a week and a half ago? I was looking on the forums trying to fucking find some fucking Ninja Force, some motherfucking
Oh, dude,
Eco Warriors.
I love that. That Ninja Force, Eco Warriors, DEF, like all that. The sublines, I love the sublines.
Hey, everybody needs to do a round for Skydro. Let's fucking go.
Skydro.
let's fucking go.
Oh man. Let's see.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
Pack, I was telling you, don't sleep
We could,
on these.
well,
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Don't
and it's really,
sleep on
oh, okay.
these.
I could give you a little bit of.
What?
Here's a little
Yeah,
bit
that's
of
a
the
good one.
90s nightmare.
His
Okay.
shotgun sucks to find,
Here's
but
a
that's a
little
good
bit
figure.
of the.
Dude, check out
There's
that
some bright
vehicle with the
90s.
radio. Oh, hey, okay. I'm gonna put you on blast. Go ahead and say a little something about this vehicle.
So this is the Eco Warrior Sludge Hiss tank. But look at that 90s neon.
Hey, you know
You
what?
know?
I need to put an explicit warning content on this. That's fucking tits. I like
Yeah,
that.
that's
Dude.
awesome, dude.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Squirts. It's got the little water
It
squirter.
squirts fucking water. You put warm and cold water in it, and it changes the color on the outside of their bodies. Like, where's my clean sweep at? Where he's all colored out.
Motherfuckers getting up from
They
their
were
seats,
great.
grabbing shit. It's like, I got this. I got that. Dude, it's cool
Oh,
though.
we just had domino effect.
There's actual later on, I think it's 2010s maybe and on. There's a bright colored um snow fucking snowcat and it's a Cobra vehicle. It's blue with a red canopy.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
I can't ever remember the name of that. It starts with a B or some shit, but I want that motherfucker.
it's from a 2-pack, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Go ahead, Viper. We are digressing like a motherfucker tonight. We ain't staying on
Well,
topic for shit.
Sorry.
I mean, if you're a black light era kid like me, they glow. Some of them glow in the dark.
That's amazing. How can you hate that?
But
I love it.
the color does change over time, and you can't change it anymore with hot or cold water. But originally, you couldn't see this, and then you would get them wet with, I think it was warm water, would make this turn. So being in the garages and attics, this has become permanent because heat is what makes it change its color. But yeah, when you'd buy these, they'd be clean. There'd be nothing on them. Same with clean sweep. Like, he's all yellow and then there's brown on him that eventually rises like he's been walking through muck. That's what's the coloring on clean sweep. Cesspool has it too.
Before our next segment, we're gonna do hauls next, right? Because we probably ain't getting into all the topics tonight, but before we get to hauls, Mark Cosplay has a question. This is a question for everybody. What's the best vehicle in G.I. Joe any era? Go ahead, Animal.
So, my best vehicle, my favorite vehicle, 85 Mauler, hands down. I rebuilt my childhood one. I have almost 100% complete. My heavy metal that Cobra Viper has so graciously helped me re-get is just missing his microphone, basically. But yeah, the
It's a
85
clean one
Mauler,
too.
the 85 Mauler. Would
80.
be,
We got an
would be my
85 Mauler
all-time.
for right lower square Brady Bunch. What do you got, Ben?
Right lower square Brady Bunch.
Your
For
left
vehicle?
lower square Brady Bunch. What do you got?
Yeah, there we go. I have two. So the Night Raven.
The Night Raven, which you just sold to our buddy Lance.
Yeah, it's cool. I got another one.
I knew you did.
I always forget the name of it because I don't have it anymore, but I had it when I was a kid. It's the blue Cobra jet, the Hurricane.
Yes.
Yeah, the VTOL, the Hurricane VTOL comes with the yellow and silver.
With that crazy looking Viper. I freaking love that when
that was a cool jet. That was a very cool jet.
Oh, is that Viper? Is that Viper's daughter? She cracks me up. Anytime I'm on the phone, I can hear her just running wild, bro. She cracks me up. It's her, isn't it? It's her, isn't it, Viper? You might as well just have her as a mascot on this show, bro. So, my favorite vehicle of any G.I. Joe era is that motherfucker right there, the Tomahawk. Yeah, Tomahawk is my favorite.
I'm working on one. I'm rebuilding right now.
That only thing I need for that's a fucking microphone, and everybody needs a microphone for lift ticket. So, other than that, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
I have to say a second though, and I don't have it. The fucking the hydroform array. I do like that sumbitch a lot, and I don't have it. I passed on it like a year and a half ago for $100 like an idiot. So, but hey, you live and you learn. Go ahead, Viper.
Man, my goodness. Top vehicle. It's the hardest choice. For me,
so many
my top vehicle for air is it's tied between the Night Raven and the Condor. I like them both equally. Like
Condor,
they're the
white long jet.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Splits into two.
It's up there. So that's the other contender. But if I had to choose from my generation, my favorite vehicle will be Cutter's Shark 2000 from the DEF line.
Bro,
it's a big boat. It floats. It actually floats. There's no holes in it. It looks like a snow boat because it's white and blue, but with the right colors, I've seen people paint it and do customs, and it looks like a sick PT boat or something when it's done.
Yeah,
it's like a catamaran in looks.
There's another thing. We got all kinds of shows. All this stuff is going through my head. We're gonna break down years with vehicles. I'm a huge vehicle. I love fucking vehicles, man. I don't know what it is, man.
That's like the vehicles. Just there's just something about them, man. The vehicles were the best.
That's the best part of G.I. Joe.
Yeah, the vehicles were the best. If I had to pick another one, I would almost go with the Avalanche. I don't know if a lot of people know what it is, but I love the Avalanche. If you need me to show up, I can go grab it quick.
I will say this.
Go grab that. I can't remember.
The Hummer. Fuck the Hummer and trying to find all of its fucking pieces, man. It's a cool piece, but fuck the Hummer.
The Hammer? I've got the
Hammer.
Thank
you.
The Avalanche is like the Havoc on steroids, bro.
Oh my god. Yeah, that thing is cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that thing
is like the early 90s, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 91.
Yes.
Or 89, 90.
It's got the little back detachable.
Yeah, dude.
It should say the year on the bottom somewhere. If you don't want to flip it, I understand.
Yeah, maybe he don't want to flip them shits.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Okay, let me just look on the figure.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure
that's
the
theme.
91.
So let's go ahead and do hauls. Ralph says the Tomahawk is his favorite.
90.
And
We're looking at 90.
Skydro was like, Animal Mother on YouTube. That's right, man. Animal Mother is on YouTube, and we hope to hear from all these dogs more frequently. So let's see. I'll go first on hauls. Fuck it. So, um, let me go ahead and put my own self on blast.
Shout out to all the homies out there in the chat. What up, everybody?
So don't be sleeping on anything, G.I. Joe. It doesn't have to be a grail. It doesn't have to be thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars. There's fucking gems everywhere you look. And I am impressed. Some like this is just a Dollar General
Yep. It
Storm
was a Dollar
Shadow.
General release.
But
it's a great figure.
yeah, what Animal said, this figure is done. It feels great. The plastic still doesn't feel like ass. So I think it's great. Good. It was something I was able to get
I have
for
the
cheap,
variant of that.
and it surprised me. What's the variant? Check this out.
The black and white, the original colors for the Ninja Force.
Okay.
Yeah, they had 2 different sets for the Dollar General ones.
Yep.
So check this out. It's very fitting that Ben and me were bringing this up, but this thing right here, this is what we're talking about with Valor versus Venom. These vehicles, dude, there's like a Thunderwing jet, a fucking Grizzly tank, Crimson Copter, dude. All this stuff is fucking awesome. Like that figure is cool too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that thing's insane looking. And like you got to think about it, since it's a G.I. Joe's been like a thing for kids. So if you were a kid and you walked down the toy aisle and you saw that shit, you'd be like, "Oh my god!"
well,
Get all those pieces and missiles.
So the packaging isn't the packaging looks great as displayed here, but it's not friendly to open up and take out, unfortunately.
Look at all that plastic. Hasbro's rolling in their grave right now.
I know. So that's all I got for hauls. Hold on a second. Let's go with, you got hauls, Ben?
It's kind of crazy, but nothing crazy at the same time. Black Friday came up and all the shops were having like their local little Black Friday sale and stuff like that. So I went there for comic books because I was just looking for some stuff, but they did have some toys. And then I pulled this out of a loose bucket. And
just a bag of weapons.
they had it for $10 and it's just crammed full of G.I. Joe weapons.
Where did you find it?
It was at one of the local comic shops.
That's great because you can just dig through that and find some gold.
Yeah, they didn't have they didn't have any G.I. Joe figures, but like I looked down and saw some of the pieces and I was like, so there's some like old pieces in here, but like a lot of it is from the 2000s era stuff and like 25th anniversary and like Valor versus Venom and a lot of that stuff. So I was like, yeah, in the future.
I see the chrome. I see the chrome gun for the super soldier right there.
That's what I call a G.I. Joe dig. Who loves the fact that just doesn't matter if the shit's
yeah.
Dig through it, man.
Yeah, there's some crazy shit in there. The super soldier gun. I found like bat hands and stuff like that in there. So
what?
I gotta go through that.
Are they the bat hand? Are they 86 bat hands? That's the question though.
There was like some 86 bat hands and like crotches and a couple. I think there was like a backpack and maybe
oh my god, you got a gold mine with those.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to the one of the worst bats ever, the Valor versus Venom bat. That thing was horrible.
Is that the one with the antennas?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the giant knife hand to it, but yeah, it's not my favorite bat, but I do like that sword hand he comes with.
Yeah.
Dude, I took the Sigma 6 bat and put washes on it, made it look like grease was running down the joints. Sold it, made a decent little bit of money on it, but it was cool because somebody loved it. The guy messaged me back. He's like, "Did you do this yourself?" Yada yada. He's like, "I love it. It looks so fantastic. It looks organic, whatever." But yeah, it was cool. I just flipped it because I was like, "What am I gonna do with this?" For a dime a dozen online. Let me make it custom.
Dude, just getting a bag of stuff for a lot and just finding out. I'm also going to do a show to show you how to figure out how to identify everything. All this shit's happening. So go ahead, Viper.
You got to buy one of these raggedy books. get your nose in the game, you know,
Go
sniff it
ahead,
out, find the parts.
go ahead, Viper, with your haul. I'm gonna take a small break. While you're doing
I
that.
got a few things. So I got classified came in, you know, apparently my orders didn't get canceled. I got the Python Patrol Viper. I got the Python Patrol Bat. From Vintage Toy Plug, I got a Slice character. Another one. I have 4 of these now. I'm a little bit obsessed with having some ninjas. I bought the new Dragonfly or Firefly in the
Oh, that's
camo. Yeah, I had all his weapons except for the back of the pack. I don't have that, but I've had this gun and this walkie-talkie forever, just waiting for the figure loose, and I got him. His arm's a little loose. I got to do some TLC to him, but I got him. I upgraded my quick kick. I got one with nice feet now.
nice.
You know,
That's a hard
my
one.
old one. Yeah, my old one was pretty bad. Who else did I get? Oh yeah, and I got my old fishing buddy. You know, Animal was riding me. He's like, "You don't have that figure already?" Well, now I do. I got my leather neck or my bazooka. Now I got to get leather neck, and I'll
just need
complete the old fishing buddies.
Yeah, you just need the leather neck.
Yep. And then I also got this from Vintage Toy Plug. Decent prices on O-rings. He needs a little TLC too, but you know, the prices aren't too bad when you buy them. So if you find something like this, I can live with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got the Night Force Beachhead now. That adds to my Beachhead collection. Let me see what else I got. Oh, I got another Countdown. He's way over there. I'm not going to get him. I mean, you guys know who Countdown is. I guess I could grab him. But I got my 3rd Countdown, and Animal got a Countdown off me. So
Countdown's a cool one. Yeah.
yeah, when I was a kid and you went in store and seen this guy in Blizzard, I got these 2 at the same time. That was one of the greatest days for G.I. Joe playtime.
Yeah.
Going home with Blizzard and Countdown.
Some good figures.
Oh, and then I mean, we could show off a little bit of the custom work that Animal does. He painted the eyes. Might be hard to tell. Let's see if I can hold it straight. But he painted the eyes. He
Go
did
back.
the erotic.
Go back a hair. See if it kind of gets it in.
They're really tiny on that figure.
They're really tiny. I might be able to switch the camera.
Yeah.
Hold on. I gotta go to what?
I'm not sure if it'll let you.
More. Yeah, settings, camera, facing front.
What's up, Tiny Plastic Universe?
Tiny.
Tiny.
All right, there you can see.
Yeah, I didn't do any of my classified hauls because I think I'm gonna save that for our next show because I want to talk about some of them that I got.
All right.
Cool.
That was about it. But I got some O-rings. I got some classified.
Oh,
I still
well,
buy O-ring to this day, so I love it that much.
what do you got, Animal?
Classified wise.
Hit us, Animal.
Couple of the, Zorana came in. The Outback came in. The Python Patrol stuff came in, but some of the, I'd rather just cover some of the O-ring stuff that I've gotten, because I see Mark was in chat also talking about some Slaughter stuff. So while we're talking about it, we can
Big M says he loves that countdown.
So Cobra Viper helped me get the Sergeant Slaughter's Marauders version to actually go with the Equalizer tank that I have.
That tank's the balls.
So I don't know if this was the one tank you were talking about, Mark, for Sergeant Slaughter, or I've had it a little while, but it's newer to me because I didn't have it as a child, but I own it now. Would be
I gotta hang my jets, man. You and
the
Viper.
Slaughter with the Warthog.
Oh, love, dude, that thing's cool.
Yeah, this was one vehicle that I didn't have as a child that I have recently added to my collection.
Yeah, the Warthog is definitely on my list, man.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool vehicle. Other than that, I've just added a couple of those, like, later 2000s era style O-rings, like this version of Big Ben.
Hey,
Couple versions of Firefly,
Big
things
Ben,
like that.
October Guard, right?
No, he's actually a British character.
Oh, I thought he was October Guard. There, I
No, he
don't.
came out in the 90s. And the only reason I think they made him in classified is to go against Valaverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too hard to top Balorverse. Want to give a huge shout out to Kid with the Kung Fu Grip, bro. We are trying like hell to get you on the show, so hopefully that can happen. So want to make sure we shout out.
Well, anybody that got 12-inch Joes, Kid with the Kung Fu Grip has a bunch of those, but they're the modern ones. So
yeah.
I don't know which tank you were talking about, Mark, but I actually have two. I have two equalizers. I have the box and the instructions for one of them.
You just renewed my passion for a Warthog, man. Damn it. That thing is awesome.
Dude, it's on my bucket list as well.
And it's like, and you can fit some guys in the back of it. It's a little troop carrier.
All right. So we're gonna head to our next topic because we're kind of pushing against it. So, but I wanted to hit this one because this topic came from somebody in the chat, the old smiling tooth devil down there in the bottom right there. So
sorry, my nephew's over here, and he was just like, while he was showing off his stuff, he came over here and sat by me and checked out like all the GI Joes you're showing off. He was like,
That's cool though.
Yeah.
So this topic comes to us from Ben. Ben says, "What's your O-ring wish list?" Let me kind of explain that. And if I don't explain it correctly, Ben will correct me. But meaning figures that were never made into an O-ring that we would like to see in a future line. And what should this line be possibly called is what I add. So Ben, we'll let you take it if you can. I know you may have some issues going on there, but kind of take us through what you're talking about.
So I was just talking about like figures, probably from the comic books or movie that you would like to see made into stuff that probably would have been made from like 82 all the way to like 94, but never got made. I always go with Pythona from the G.I. Joe movie. I think it's weird she never got made. They probably planned on it, but how G.I. Joe was with like female figures back then. I know they said multiple times like they didn't want to make Jinx really even whenever she came out. And but she's a pretty main character. I figure her Globulus and like Nemesis Enforcer like probably would have made a great 3-pack.
What would you like the line to be called, or is that something you may have to think about?
Really, I think if they just released them on classic cards and like didn't name the line, just release them on classic cards just like that and kept on adding to it, Yeah. They don't need to call the line anything. Just like make retro carded GI Joes. You know, kind of like they're doing for the HasLab.
Yeah. Go ahead, Animal. What do you think? What's your O-ring wish list? A figure that never got put into O-ring that you'd like to see, and what would you like the line to be called or the direction? Now I know the direction would be O-ring figures that never got made, but is there something else you would like to see with that
I
line?
kind of I kind of stand with Ben on it. Like I don't know if the name if it really needs a name or just kind of like I don't know how the new O-rings are per se. I've heard, good and bad things about them. Um uh, I guess if I would like to see an O-ring character to Big Lob would be one for me to
They
see what
made
you guys
one
have
though.
done. Did they?
Yes, they made one. He's like $500 to get him though. He's
So
impossible to get.
was he like one of those? So other than the fan subscription in like 2000 something, did they do an actual O-ring version of him though?
Only in
He was in a
convention.
he was like in a convention box set, like one of those.
Yep.
Was he?
You know, like they did Tiger Force Beachhead and stuff like that in one of those box sets. Yeah, they made Big Lob. And of course, he's like the only member from that crew they didn't put in the main line yet. So, like,
Is he
Yeah.
diaper crotch or is he O-ring?
he's O-ring. He's like straight up O-ring. I mean, his paint's a little, you know how the newer O-ring figures have that paint look to
The
them?
peach.
Yeah.
The
Where they
peach
kind of
era.
look
Okay.
matte and like not shiny
All
or
right.
anything like that.
Oh,
Maybe I've seen it and just thought that that's something someone like kind of slapped together. Maybe I wasn't thinking that that was actually released.
A lot of people do use Bazooka's shirt because it's the same. They paint the yellow on it. They use certain arms. I think they use Heavy Duty's arms. They get a custom head made, but they use the legs off of like a Duke from the 2000s because they're a little bit taller, and they have those cargo pockets on the sides, kind of like he has with the brown
All
boots.
right.
It's pretty close. So people do make that clone, but yeah, the real one is the convention exclusive. Which think
All
about
right.
that. They're baiting you so bad. It's like, oh, look at this gorgeous candy. We got Tiger Force Beachhead for you assholes. And it's like, you gotta be at the convention to get it.
Well,
Well,
what's
shit. I mean, I guess I've learned something then. I didn't realize Big Lob had been made into an O-ring character.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's kind of what I said
Boy,
earlier. I said he was made, but it
I
Pythona was
don't,
only made in the 25th line.
I don't. Yeah. See, and that's my thing. Like Pythona would be cool, but I, I'm not a huge Cobra Law fan. So Pythona, give or take. You know.
go ahead, Viper.
It's for me, it wasn't about the whole Cobra Law vibe from her. It was just the badassness, the cinematography, the animation, whatever you want to call it. When she's running, the music's pumping, it's nighttime, you hear the crickets, and she comes through and gasses them, running, busts through the shit, cuts the fence, just phenomenal. Like jumps right through the door as it's closing and gets in there as Serpentor is like going down in his chariot, thinks he's about to get away, and she's like, ha ha, gotcha, bitch. Just the vibe of her not being sexist or nothing, just being a young kid, like just wanting that figure and then getting the Globulus 3-pack and the Cobra Law, because I got that luckily. But it was like, where is she? And being away from it from so long, I didn't even know they made her, but they did make her in the 25th. And for me, that's great because this time of year is my cup of tea. So I'm content as far as that. And if I wanted an O-ring, that's probably the only one I'd think of though, because I don't read the comics, I don't watch the show enough, or look at the different media to have an opinion, I guess.
Frank says Dr. Venom he would like to see. And what is up to DFS, bro? Appreciate you stopping. DFS. 80s always wanted Quinn Dr. Venom, another one for Dr. Venom. Candy, Ripcord's girlfriend. Billy in Cobra Scout's uniform. Hardmaster, Softmaster. Snake Eyes with army dress uniform with bandages. There's a lot to unpack in that comment, bro. Ralph done
Yeah.
Billy would be a good one. Billy would be a good
Billy.
one. Billy would be
So
Billy would be a good choice for an O-ring.
a lot of these have been
I
made, but
do
they're
agree
not
with
an
Ralph
O-ring.
on that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
do agree with that. I do agree.
Yeah.
with
shit,
that.
you could
Billy
even
would
go
be
as far as the cook, like Roundhead had animal make.
Yeah.
Hey, where's our Santa Claus, bro? Does Animal Mother Custom have to supply everybody with a Santa Claus? Because I don't think that's gonna
The Santa.
shit. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's Viper's.
Ho, ho,
Viper's
ho.
Santa.
That's mine. We collaborated on that for a few days, and a little bit of that's my brain work, and a lot of that's Animal's brain work.
Dude, I mean, Ralph, that was a good list there. So hard master and soft master, that would be cool as well. So I had a choice, but it's kind of a deviant because the first O-ring figure really didn't do it for me. I wish they would make a nicer one. Venomous Maximus from Valor versus Venom. So Venom, if I remember correctly, this is off my top of my head. Venomous Maximus was General Abernathy, and he was fucked up in an experiment in Valor versus Venom, and he turned into the bad guy.
Okay.
Can anybody correct me on this?
I'm not going to, but it sounds familiar.
I'm pretty
Like
sure
I don't
he
know
was.
a whole lot of I don't know a whole lot about Valor vs Venom.
I know that's dope because I love the whole eco warriors and poisoning and shit like that. So sci-fi is right up my alley.
Yeah, so I'm gonna look this
Well,
up
like
right.
that goes back to like Ninja Force. People hate the Ninja Force Snake Eyes, but when you see him done up in a classified style, you got a whole nother level of like dope ass ninja of that time. I just think it was the mechanisms everybody hates.
Oh yeah, dude, because he had those, like, I'm gonna refer to it as breeder hips. Like,
Yeah,
same
the
thing with the
Chung Li
Scarlet. She had the
suffered.
same. Yeah, she had the same
Yep.
thing. That wide-bodied hip area for that kung fu kick action.
I feel like
Yeah.
this wasn't too bad. Like this is tolerable. Cold Slither going on over here.
Yeah, see that he wasn't a Zartan I cared for. That was one in Ninja Force I didn't buy. Was the Zartan?
Oh my
To
goodness.
me, he doesn't fit
Dude,
Ninja
just
Force.
the mold of his boots, the little knife carrier. Yeah, he's more on the vibe of like biker, but I do like the mold.
Like if anything, if any Dreadnought matches him, it's definitely the Sonic Fighters Road Pig.
Yeah, to a T. It's kind of like they should have been a 2-pack.
Yeah.
Oh, you fuck. I'm gonna look that, but I'm pretty sure it is. You might be. So if you haven't seen that figure, Cobra Viper, I'll show it to you. I can only
Venomous
find one.
Maximus.
Yeah, I can only find one on eBay. I wanted to show it on the show, but
I mean, the story sounds cool enough. You could always draw them in a different light, like they did with Resolute and things of that nature.
Pack, have you checked Yo Joe? Did you go on Yo Joe?
yeah, you can see it in there, but Yojo just tells you all the figures. I don't think it tells you the. Oh, wait a minute.
Backstory.
Right. Hold on a second. I think I got the card.
I'm gonna grab something to show you guys. I'll be right back.
Okay. Show me the card. Okay. I don't know if I can read that. Damn. And his mint. Damn, I can't read it that small, bro. But I'm almost positive he was General Abernathy in that shit. But if you like strange shit, they did two versions of him. The one came with a venomization chamber, like a little tiny playset, and that's how he kind of turned into him. Let's see. There's two of them, I thought. Victim. It comes with a victim.
Was there a version of him that was kind of like snaky looking?
I think yeah, there's two versions of him. One looks normal, and one has translucent plastic. Yojo's being really sluggish right now. So I'll show it, seeing how I brought it up. Let's go here to present. Somebody in chat might have answered me, but
I'm gonna look in this
so
one.
Venomous Maximus right here. This is the chamber.
Yeah, I remember. They used to show him off on the commercials for that toy line. I remember.
Yeah, so there's two versions of him. Remember, you could get Storm Shadow unmasked in the mail. I got like 4 of them.
Yeah.
That's so I'm almost positive.
That's god awful.
So it's great. It's great. It's great, Viper. It's like your 90s neon shit, bro. But there's two versions.
It's god awfully good.
He's a Cobra V Troop Overlord.
I mean, that would be cool with the right molding and the right sculpt of the body and stuff. I like the armor with the green.
There you go. There's the first version of him. See how he's got that long, like, mutated arm? It'd be great to have him fucking updated. I would even like to see him in classified, dude. I think he's fucking cool.
You know what we're looking at right there? We're looking at the origins and the mutated arms later on for the zombies.
Yeah.
So there's your two different versions. You know what I mean?
I like the green one a lot.
Yeah.
I like that one.
But fuck it. There we are.
Huh.
There's my share screen tangent for this show. But
I thought they made a 12-inch version of him, but maybe they didn't.
I don't think so, but
I don't think
that'd be dope. Like, give me one in classified for sure.
But I was gonna. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the second version you showed off, or the one that's not neon green, he actually has a cape that drapes over that like snake arm, so you can't really tell it's a snake arm, and he has this big old staff, so he looks like kind of biblical looking. I don't know, he looks sick.
So I'm almost positive it's Abernathy. So I thought when this whole line came out and that storyline came out, I'm like, that's sick. They turned a G.I. Joe guy completely and mutated him. It's almost like they turned a G.I. Joe guy into a Serpentor type figure.
It's about time.
Sick. It's sick,
about time.
Dude.
Get the upper hand.
Oh man. We're gonna lay side on that. Oh, so we got about 25 minutes left. We're gonna go ahead and hit that. I got one more. What is a deal breaker when you're browsing vintage G.I. Joe loose or carded figures? And it might be more loose, but Cobra Viper, what do you think?
Price.
Price is the deal breaker,
Yeah.
nothing else.
Yeah, if you're ball breaking and I see that you got some exuberant price, I'm out of there quick. I don't even look at what you got. I already know what your time is.
All right, so Viper says exuberant and ball breaking price is animal. What's a deal breaker when you're looking to buy some loose, let's just call it loose figures or vehicles? Let's throw vehicles in there, and we'll let Viper come back in.
I'm gonna go with the price, because there's some people out there that are like, it's got a broken crotch, a busted thumb, and maybe a crack in the elbow, and they still want close to full price for something like that, or a vehicle that's like missing shit that you're still trying to get full value on. No, so I'm gonna go with price. Price is a deal breaker.
Price.
For me.
So well, let's see what Ben has to say.
I've kind of I like going to the if you guys are on Facebook, I like going to the G.I. Joe groups. I think those are pretty good groups. Like most of the guys do pretty good sales on there and are pretty honest with the stuff. Of course, you're protected by PayPal, so they're kind of forced to be honest. And I know on at least 2 of those GI Joe groups, like they absolutely require you to send by goods and services. So like, you know, but so I like buying from there. But like other than that, I really like buying in person. eBay, like people want too much for their stuff. It always seems like Mercari, people want too much for their stuff. And it's getting to the point where like, like he was saying, Cobra Viper was saying, you got a bunch of like sunburnt GI Joes, and the guys like want, way too much stuff for it, and people are buying it. That's the bad part, but you can't really do anything about it if people are actually buying it. But like I've been able to go to conventions, like the actual GI Joe conventions, and pick up, really good figures for really good prices, and yeah, it's kind of weird because a lot of people make it seem like the stuff is very rare and hard to get, and there's not a lot out there anymore. And then you go one place and there's like readily available, and the guys have like 16 of the same figure and they're all in perfect condition. You're like, okay, and he wants a good price for it.
So you were talking earlier.
And then sometimes you can find that person you can haggle with a little bit, and they, they're more than reasonable to come down 10-15 bucks on a price.
No.
If you're willing to do that, I'm more than willing. But there's just, there's a certain, if I'm looking for a certain vehicle, I kind of got a price range in my head that I'm willing to go to if it's at a certain condition.
Yeah.
So we were talking a little bit ago before I go. You were talking, and I'm kind of curious about this. I'm thinking I'm going to go to the Joe Con that's in, where is it, Alabama? Is it Alabama or some shit, Ben?
Joe Lanta is in
Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't know why it took me a little bit to think about that. But yeah, Joe Lanta's in Atlanta. I don't know how that one is. I went to Joe Fest, which that's the place that originally had it before Joe Lanta was a thing. I mean, it's in the same area. It's in the Atlanta, Georgia area. But Jesus Christ, I was able to find some, like, I kind of wish I refrained from buying GI Joes all throughout COVID and just saved all my money and went there and bought GI Joes, because I got some amazing stuff for good prices.
So, do you go there once a year? Because I'm after talking to you, I'm wanting to hit that place, man. Joe Fest.
We went to some of the ones that are kind of closer to Oklahoma. This is the first time we like drove out 16 hours to go check it out, because it was hyped up as being like the GI Joe show, and we kind of got there, and there's dudes with like Marvel Legends, and there's guys with Pokemon cards, and you're like, what the hell's going on? But there was a lot of guys with GI Joes there. A lot of GI Joes. Like if you still have a lot of stuff you're missing for your collection, mine's kind of filling out. So, but if you're still missing a lot, I'd say it's worth the drive just to go to any GI Joe convention and check it out, because it's one of those things where you go to a local toy show and there's one vendor with vintage GI Joes, and he could kind of put whatever price he wants on the stuff because he's the only guy with vintage GI Joes, right? But if you go to a convention and there's like 120 vendors there or whatever, or 50 vendors there, and at least 20 of them all have a complete Spirit in good condition with all his accessories and the bird intact, what guy's going to sell it first? The guy with the best price.
Is that the one that everybody goes to, Viper, or is that a different one?
No, Joe Fest is the one in Atlanta, Georgia that everyone goes to, or Augusta, Georgia.
Joe Fest in Augusta. But
Yeah.
Ralph says, would love a 4-pack set of Vietnam unit. Stalker, Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and Wade. Kamakura's dad.
I was going to show Ralph this. So this is like 2004, but they released these comic packs.
Yep.
And like, this is what I was talking about at the early 2000s era. It's weird because you have like these classic styled O-ring guys, like obviously that's pretty close to the original, Snake Eyes and stuff like that, but in an Arctic outfit. And then you have like weird molding on Scarlet that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't match
her head.
Yeah. But like they made a Vietnam pack, I'm pretty sure, with Snake Eyes in it, where he's wearing his hat and his sunglasses.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
make
they
that
did.
pack.
And there's a stalker that goes with it, and I think there's the
There's a Storm
Tommy, but I've
Shadow.
seen people make it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that people have made the Storm Shadow.
So if you've ignored the era of GI Joes, I know he was mentioning he's a real 82 to 87 kind of guy, or 92 or 94. Yeah, you might want to look at those because they have some pretty cool comic packs in them. You might like.
Those Joes get a little brittle. It's weird. Like the plastic's not as strong as the 80s plastic in those years. I see a lot of people crack the Vipers and then those green shirts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I never-
Stalker breaks. I've had the
chest.
Duke, the whole chest breaks.
God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never
Like,
took
do
them out of the
not-
comic packs.
If you're changing O-rings, those are the type that you do not try to twist the head in from the top as you like barely hold it. Like you want to have the head in first and then put the chest on and try not to have any like tight pressure with it at all or twisting because they will crack.
Like
Yeah.
I think there was like the 5-pack, the 5-pack of like 82 guys where they gave them the like red collared shirts and stuff like that. Like I've seen a lot of guys breaking those chests.
Yeah,
Or
those
they,
the
like,
weird
when
colored
Toys R Us
like
had, like,
pastel. It's like
But-
General Hawk's head with like Roadblock's body. You talk about those?
Okay, I've seen that. They're in
Yeah.
Yeah,
weird
maybe.
colors. Yeah.
There's some dark ears. There's some dark ears.
They're all gonna break in about 15 years, so don't be too stressed about it. Our
That's
shelf,
what I was kind of
Probably.
saying earlier. It's the time is catching up to the plastic.
yeah. Only thing that will be left will be the Valor versus Venom GI Joes, and then we'll all be forced to collect those.
We'll be fighting to the death over those.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I need that muscular Cobra Commander. It's the last one. Or we'll
What's
have
up,
to
young?
collect Sigma 6.
Oh,
What's up,
God.
Young Fire? Appreciate you stopping in. He says
G.I. Joe
80s.
Extreme.
For
Oh,
sure.
GI Joe Extreme. I would say that's the worst era.
Ooh,
That is probably the worst.
That is.
I
They
think
were
we could
like-
all agree.
They were weird
That could be
scale,
worse
weird,
than the,
weird carded. Just it was like, are these animals? Are they I don't know. That's just the vibe
Could
I
almost be
got.
worse than the Sergeant, like the Sergeant Savage.
Even weirder than them funky ass aliens that they did. You know, the Star Brigade aliens with the 6
okay,
arms
yeah,
and
yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather have those than that.
Monstro Vipers? Is that what you're talking about?
That's for the Mega Marines. The ones I'm talking about are
They did 2
O-ring
monsters
characters.
for the Mega Marines, but they did.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, those are
for
the
Mega
Mega
Marine.
Marines.
Those
Yeah.
are fucked up.
I'm talking about the Star Brigade O-ring with multiple arms. There's
Hey,
like
give
a
that to
Yeah, I
your
praying
remember.
nephew.
mantis,
Yeah.
like a
Carcass.
snake.
Hey, can we have a
Yes.
mini toy study right now, Ben? Grab that figure and give it to your nephew, and let's see what happens.
You know, he'd really like it because he likes monsters and stuff like that. He likes like kind of creepy toys. Like he was watching Nightmare Before Christmas the other day just because like he liked all the monsters and stuff in it. So he'd actually probably really like this toy.
How old is he? Like 5 to 7 area?
He's about 3 or 4.
Man, I'm telling you, like, I don't know. For some reason, I thought that was really young, but man, it's not. I mean, they're really coming into playing with some toys in that time frame.
Now he has this little hiss tank he plays with. That's I think 2006 hiss tank. Yeah, with like launching missiles and stuff like that. He freaking loves that thing. That's like
Is that the one that looks like a snake?
No, I know which one you're
Okay.
talking about. It almost looks like an armored car. It's like a beefed up hiss tank.
Mhm. Yeah. So if you're an adult and you like toys still, just wait till you have like a grandchild or a kid. Like it goes to another level. You'd be like, man, this is like it just renews it all, man. It renews it all.
I got a 2-year-old, and she is into putting the characters in the vehicles big time. She wants to put them in the Awe Strikers. She wants to put them in the APC. She wants to put them in the Rage. All she wants to do is cram them in there and then yank them out. Cram them in there.
Dude, I don't know what it is. There's something about being So even you got those little people like Fun School things or little people, whatever the fuck it is in Walmart. Just my grandson used to, he would just put it in, take it out, look at it, put it back in. Huh?
Yep. Same thing. Same
Yeah.
thing.
There's go ahead, Animal.
What's that?
I thought you were gonna say something. But
No.
I think that's just about gonna do it for this show. We need to get some reps in. It's a little tight on this show. We'll get a little better on the next one, but Thanksgiving kind of threw us off. Had to break.
Yeah, it was close one.
It was, and it was hard for all of us to get together to even figure out what we were gonna do for this show. It's hard.
We put in work to make this show happen now.
Oh, we need to. Damn it! I left that up the whole show, and I didn't mean to. See, I'm a rookie tonight, man. Rookie tonight.
It happens.
But everybody can check out Animal Mother Customs on Instagram, and it's the same handle, correct, sir?
Yes, it is.
Yes, I think everybody's the same. Cobra Vipers on Instagram, Big Kenobi's on Instagram as and some toys. And I'm on there as 3 Live Stream, obviously. But you guys got anything else you want to talk about? One last deal before we get the fuck out of here.
G.I. Joe Extreme Classifieds.
Oof.
Hey, don't joke, because when they first had that website up, you could look and they had characters from Valor vs. Venom and shit. They had one of those weird vipers with the swords on his arm that comes out. He was on there. I think it was the sand, the scorpion.
Who had these?
Yeah, it was the sand scorpion, and he was the Valor vs. Venom one.
Who had these?
Classified did on their website.
On their website.
There was Dusty. It was the Valor vs. Venom Dusty too. That's what they were projecting, the figures that were going to come out.
Man,
yeah.
It was up for a few months, and then they took it down.
I bet they were.
Yeah, because like, you remember all this bullshit?
I think he came out.
Yeah.
He came out in like a 12-inch form where he had like a weird claw hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they were planning on.
Tail,
and
I think. Like, it's weird.
Luckily, I think they've listened, because if you look at who's coming down the pike now, the Stalker looks good. The Zarana looks real good. Dusty looks real good. Falcon remains to be seen, but there's a
looks
lot
like a hamburger.
Yeah.
Falcon.
We'll see.
Hey,
you know.
I appreciate that, Young Fire.
Hey, they can't make them. They can't make them all be the best.
I know, but they forgot what a human being looked like for that one. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Dude,
he's definitely part
of
Team America.
Going back, this is phenomenal. Just I don't have one complaint on some of these.
That
not one.
Scartan is amazing still.
Yeah.
Just not one complaint, man. I didn't complain for this except for the ab crunch. That's the only thing I think they could improve on.
That thing's floppy?
No, but what are you going to do with that?
His spine's broken. You take him to the hospital.
Yeah. The Serpentor, though, has the ball swivel at the top of the joint like the ladies do. You know, like Baroness and Scarlet. The way that those figures come together, that's a much better design, I think.
Yeah,
so
that's the way they do like the Marvel Legends.
You think most of the you think most of the torso should be like the Valorverse Venom torso, or the Valorverse torso.
The Valorverse, yeah, with the secondary ball swivel here at the top. Well, not really like those, like Baroness's.
Yeah,
the Baroness has it. Yeah, and it's the best, I think, possible outcome, because when you want to get her on the motorcycle, she looks fantastic, and she sits in the seat pretty darn well.
Yep.
The foot peg position is on point. They're a little offset because you can't swivel them at the calf, but I feel like this figure, if they did the double jointed, did the swivel at the calf a little bit more, I think they would have nailed it, and there'd be no complaints as far as the Baroness goes, because man, this is amazing.
Sergeant Slaughter was really nice.
The female characters is the only ones that have that ball joint upper piece. It's just
Yes,
the
as
female.
far as I've seen. I'm not an expert, but as far as I've seen. But yeah, I did the old swapperoo with the high gloss parts from the retro, the chest, the neck, the head, and the shoulder pads, but kept everything else. Oh my god, it just broke. Remember I told you, Animal, I needed to glue it?
Oh man, he's talking all that. It's like pop.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys noticed, Mark Cosplay was one of the people that brought this up. The Baroness's retro torso was backwards compared to the original release, because if you look at the way the waist is, these vertical lines on her stomach is how the front was supposed to be. Well, when you got the other Baroness, the retro one has these big fat wide section, and so when I spun it around, it broke the chest, where it's not broken, but just the holes need glue in them. So I'm going to probably glue this back together, because the butterfly swivels were a little loose, but if you squeezed on her just right, they were as firm as when they were brand new. So this was my doing, not Classified's. But yeah, I twisted it around, and Animal's on the call, and he's like, just twist that shit. And I'm like, all right. Crunch, crunch, crunch. He's like, what was that? I was like, oh, that doesn't sound like the body. And when I boiled it, it just came to pieces.
Yeah, just pop that seam line.
Yeah, that's all it did.
No.
Now I gotta find the other pieces. That was hilarious.
Well, that's gonna do it for this show. Join us next week. Viper. We're gonna be doing classified hits or miss. We had a couple topics we didn't get to tonight. That's all right, but that'll be the show for next week. And appreciate getting to meet and talk to Animal Mother Customs 80. Seems like
it's been fun, man.
I mean, we could continue to keep talking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And thanks, Ben, for showing up. Ben's always got some good he's always got some good smart ass comments to say, but also good quality. Good quality.
And it's cool because Ben picked an era that some of us would not pick. You know, everybody kind of had their own little different era, and you know, he's over here in the trenches. He's going through it.
But he's right though, because they did.
Yeah, no.
They have some of those. They have some of those really good O-rings, but then there's just some of that weird.
This stuff. Is the perfect example. The new Firefly, or the camo Firefly, the red camo Firefly. These were released in, I guess, that time, but just fantastic.
Yeah.
I wish that they would do this again for the new modern O-rings that they're trying to bring out, but the quality doesn't even feel as good as this. You know?
I haven't had any of those new O-rings in hand, but I think I've heard from several people that they don't feel very good.
Yeah, I heard their weapons are more fragile than a 40-year-old weapon.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, that's that biodegradable, safe for the environment plastic.
Yeah, they made it out of like recycled toilet paper rolls or something to save like 2 pennies off each thing. But yeah, I heard a lot of people talk about that Storm Shadow Snake Eyes pack, and they said they were snapping the nunchucks. And like that's pretty crazy because like,
see, I haven't bought any of the new O-ring stuff.
I feel like if us O-ring guys boil the water a little bit, like use that method from Marvel Legends and some of these other figures to loosen up the joints, I think it would help, because if you took the nunchucks, boiled them, got them very loose, and then bent them and let them cool, they wouldn't have the same stress as you doing it cold. Because I mean, anyone who boils these knows that it's a chore to get it apart if it's cold. But you boil that sucker and get it just right, this thing comes apart like a jelly bean.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But that's also the other thing is like we're adult collectors and we're buying this and we know like we don't want to break it, but like if you're thinking about how G.I. Joe is supposed to last, you're supposed to get like kids into it. And so if kids are buying these things at the store and like immediately snapping those things, like,
Well, let's be
nobody's
honest though,
gonna do it.
none of those packs are making it to a store. All of
No.
that shit's ordered.
Yeah,
So
you're
if a
right.
kid has it, it's because a parent purchased it for it. But yeah, in our day, the nunchucks lasted because I still got nunchucks that ain't busted. But there is the case, however, that hard play is gonna take its toll.
Mhm.
Hard play, nunchucks.
But then there's character defects like this figure here from the Dark Ages, the crotch breaks because the way that it's built with this little waist around it. This has had like 0 playtime, and it broke one day. I came home and it was standing on the shelf, and there was a little crotch piece in between his legs. It's like,
Dude,
what the fuck?
I almost
That
said
sucks,
something.
man.
It might be time for like an after party because I'm not ready. When you said broken crotch, I almost went
You know,
somewhere.
and then you have things like the Slaughters Marauders error, where like find me some of those figures where like thumbs aren't busted
Yeah.
and crotches aren't broke.
Or the
Same
very
with the
first releases.
Mission Brazils.
Yep.
Hey, could you imagine Cobra Viper? Could you imagine Lenny on Cobra or classify hits and misses?
I mean, he watches my story, so obviously,
Most.
like, he listens to my opinion at some point. Like, why else would you follow me if you don't find it interesting or entertaining or want to get some type of input? Because I try to keep it cordial with him. Like when I hit him up about certain figures that are damaged, he's always been like, "Yo, reach out. They'll send you a new one. Thanks for the feedback," stuff like that. So I'd welcome him on, and I'd like to have a peaceful discussion where we could get to the bottom of some things and brainstorm and like to know what's in the man's head, because I know he's been doing a lot of character sketches and things of other realms, I guess you'd call it, right? On his page. And he has talent. He has great talent. And I feel like some of the direction that he's going in is fantastic. Like hats off to the guy, honestly. Like you're doing your job. Like some of these repaints, it's not for everybody, but the initial mold of this and the initial mold of this were freaking fan favorites. You couldn't find these. These were bought off the shelves immediately. So they're doing a great job. But I'd like to discuss, like, why didn't we get the twins in a 2-pack? But you gave us the 2 weird blue ninja repaints, and it's the 40th anniversary. Where's the big, package that you could put them in? And because they were number 40, like, why wouldn't you make them number 40 or someone number 40 other than Duke?
Are you talking
And
about
I'm sorry.
classifieds?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's because
Which
they run it like Star Wars Black Series or Marvel Legends, like completely throw out everything that G.I. Joe was, because this line is ran like Marvel Legends. Like if you look at how Marvel Legends have come out over the past since 2014's whenever the Infinite series, or now it's just called Marvel Legends series, how that's ran, like they run it exactly like Marvel Legends. Like I know it makes sense to us. You're like Tomax and Zamoc, 2-pack. They're twins. They're literally twins. It's the same figure. You guys just release it. But like no, because they're running it like Marvel Legends,
it's
Oh no, okay, yeah, there you go.
Why would you make a
it's
Viper
odd.
3-pack and a Ninja 2-pack with the Akiko repaint and the Storm Shadow repaint with some hoods and some stuff like that? It's just like, what are you doing? This is not what we're looking for. Like, if you want to make the sales, we have the money. We want to buy the stuff. Give us exactly what we want, and you won't have. It'll be smooth sailing. Like,
But
you
that's-
can't go
G.I.
wrong
Joe
with a 2-pack.
collectors.
we've talked about this, and that's the problem, is you have the people out there buying all that, praising all that kind of stuff, like this is great, this is fantastic, and really no, it's not. It's just a bunch of repainted garbage, shelf warming shit.
Yeah,
It's because
the
we're
Lady
G.I. Joe
J's.
collectors, so we like want to collect it as G.I. Joe collectors. We're like,
I-
it doesn't make
As a
sense that you're
businessman.
releasing Recondo before regular Recondo.
Those
That-
Viper packs, those Ninja packs, all that shit, that's just cash grabs for them. That's all it is. It's just
there you
extra
go.
cash grab.
There you go, Cobra Viper. That's a
Yeah.
preview. This is a preview for our next show next Wednesday.
So it's a cash grab, but then you got the Lady J shelf warmer, so you're just bleeding money out there. Like that's what makes no sense. It's like when you let the mental patients run the asylum.
Well,
But I
they
mean,
make
I
this
like
line
Lenny.
for
I like Lenny. I've had some conversations on Instagram with Lenny. You know,
Lenny's
we've
doing
talked
great
about-
though.
we've
I
talked
don't think
about
it's
some
Lenny's
customs
choices.
and stuff like that.
No,
But yeah,
no.
I mean, he's a good guy.
I just think he's the designer. And as far as the designs go, what are we complaining about? We're not complaining about the designs. There's a few little key things that could be switched around. Like, for instance, the silver on the twins could be a little bit better, but overall, I thought the twins looked fantastic. Zorana, I mean, show her again. Good God, that'll be our outro. The Zorana figure, like, amazing to me.
Yeah.
She's a really good figure.
The colors
Plus five.
are vibrant and popping. And when
Yeah.
you know what, we're gonna cap it there. We were supposed to do an hour and a half tonight, but guess what? It's an hour and 51 minutes. So, y'all got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
It's been fun, man. This has been a
Yeah.
blast.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate you guys being on. Viper, as always. Animal Mother, Ben, awesome. Appreciate you guys coming on. None of this is possible without any of y'all. Your mic is muted again.
Toy Fiend Cult, if you want the merch.
All right. Big shout out to chat tonight. As always, it's hard to keep up with it because you guys are keeping me on my toes, man. You guys got great topics and comments. So with that being said, everybody, just be cool and do good things for other people. We're going to be out. Don't go anywhere,
Yeah, Christmas
people.
is coming.
Don't go
Christmas
anywhere.
is coming.